As a pool builder, I sometimes had to collaborate with some general contractors for things that my trade wouldn't allow me to do. So I had to get various general contractors, had some good ones, had some bad ones. So today I'm gonna tell you all the top things that I hate, and I'm sure you do too, about what contractors do. So let's take a look at this ADU and talk about a few things. So one of the main things people hate about contractors is that they don't do what they say they're gonna do. Right? That's big in this industry. You gotta have trust, especially when you're doing business to business. You take a man at their word. So if they say they're gonna be there Monday morning at 8 o'clock, you expect them to be there. Nobody wants to get a call from a homeowner saying, hey, nobody's here, what's going on? And then you gotta make 2-3 phone calls, figure out where everyone's at. So sticking by your word is key and front and center of what's essential to be a successful business. Secondly, everyone hates change orders. So in order to avoid change orders, you gotta have a clear contract that shows all the scope of work along with the estimates. There's gonna be situations where you have unforeseen things underground, rotted wood, you demo the walls out and you find problems that you weren't expecting. That's okay. But when you go into work without a contract and you bill at the end and you get a big surprise, it's not comfortable on the homeowners or on contractors that are doing business to business. So that's why I'm trying to change the perception of contractors, partnering up with a solid cat that's going to be able to show us how business should be done and how everyone should do business in order to change the perception around contractors. Full remodel. Cool. All right.
Vic.
What's up, brother?
Man, how you doing?
All right,
good.
so I told you guys when we do swimming pools, sometimes I got to work with a lot of contractors. There's only been one solid one that I've had a good experience with. So this is Eddie Leo from Leo Capital Investments. Tell us what you do, man.
Yeah, so that's ADUs. We have a lot of there's a lot of market for ADUs, and flipping is bread and butter. So I try to diversify into both.
Cool. So what do you think sets you apart, like the way you do business compared to the other cats?
Just keeping your word. Say what you when you do. You're gonna do something. You got to do it. You got to honor it. Try to avoid some change orders. Try to avoid, asking for more money along the process. That's the.
See, I didn't even coach him. He did that on his own. So we're on the same page. That's why we're working together. So we are trying to take this to the next level. Eddie's been doing this for 7 years or so for himself. He knows the game, how to identify properties. He knows how to do the work. He knows how to run a tight ship. I'm the same way on the outdoor living side. So I think it's a perfect match for us to take on some additional opportunities to do everything from A to Z. So it's very rare to get companies that can remodel a house in 6 weeks. It's even more rare to get a company that can do a pool in 6 weeks. And here we want to do the outside and the inside within 12 weeks and flip them or convert somebody's dream home. So let's walk around your project, man. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so we're getting ready to ask for all the rough inspections, which is the rough electrical, rough plumbing, rough framing, MEPs. I try to do it all at once so we avoid the inspector coming in here multiple times. And then you try to build a relationship, as you saw earlier, with them. Normally when I do a flip or an ADU in one area, guys, there's more opportunity because you get referrals. So the relationship with the inspectors, it's a big deal.
What are some tips to maintain a good relationship with them, especially here in LA County where they can be pretty strict and troublesome?
Yeah, you got to just be genuine. You got to know that they do have the last word, even though sometimes we don't agree with them. They're like they're like a police officer. So you just say, okay, what do you need me to do? I'll get it done. There's ways to approach them non-confrontationally. If you might have a different opinion, you just run it across them. But typically after a while or two, they're pretty lenient. So just comply with them. Whatever they say they got to do, we got to do anyway.
So one of the main reasons I wanted to partner up with a solid general contractor was because I may know what's going on outside, and I cross my fingers that I'm not getting screwed when it comes to the inside. So if I get a client that wants to add a pool house or an outdoor restroom or extend their garage, I usually turn the project over to a GC that I don't have a relationship with, and then cross my fingers that I don't get screwed in the end. So this is why Eddie's here. So walk me through, what are some of the things that you've seen and known about that general contractors do to get over on people as far as like framing?
Yeah, so normally a house that we're gonna flip, it's not open floor, and people like open floor. So if you're gonna do some structural work, I would just say just get a permit up front. Don't try to beat the system. Inspectors really do hate that. So get the permit up front, get their blessing. If you're gonna do some windows, I mean, stuff that you can get over the counter, just do it. It avoids 2 or 3 months of delay, and your money is invested here. And typically when I do some flips, Vic, I got people's money invested. So it's not just me I'm looking out for, it's the people's money.
Being
that
accountable to the people that
they trust me, man. They trust me, so they gotta know that I'm taking care of them, as well as the whole flip itself.
So what are some tips, like if you come across a house like this is probably a 1940s 50s built home, what are some tips that are quick money makers as an investor, as a flipper, as a homeowner, to get the biggest bang for your buck?
You got to look at the comps in the area. You got to see the latest houses that sold, what they sold for. I try to typically get the amount per square feet when it sells, as opposed to the whole flip in general. There's a price per square feet when you sell a house, and that's what I try to look at, and I try to compare that to what's going to be the finished product of the project.
So I get a lot of people that tell me, man, pools are expensive, they don't do anything for your value. What's your take on that? Do you think that having a nice backyard would help this project sell?
Yeah, I mean, backyard, kitchens, bathroom, I mean, overall everything's important. You're not going to meet the criteria for everybody, but normally people look for a backyard, they look for a pool, they look for, women look for a nice kitchen. So you can't go wrong with a nice backyard and some entertainment, man. Yeah.
So tell me about some tips. So this is going to be the family room?
Yeah.
Family room?
Family room. It's going to be open space here.
So what are some of the safe options to go with if you're an investor or if you're flipping, as far as colors, finishes, carpet, wood, what are the materials you recommend for a quick selling flip?
Yeah, so this particular area, I'm going to go with engineer flooring, just because it's a little higher end. Yeah. Maybe in the high ones or 2 million. So we got to make sure that we use the material that's appropriate with the $1 million homes, with the $2 million homes. And like I said, you got to look at the comps around here, and you got to look at those pictures as well. So here we're going to go with engineer flooring. We're going to go with normally it's white interior paint. In here we're going to do it's going to be different. We're going to go with gold finishes in one restroom and black in the other. And it's going to be somewhat modern.
Nice. What about the ceiling? What are we doing to the ceiling?
Yeah, so once we get this inspection for the insulation, then we drywall it, right? You see the can lights here, it's all over the place. And then, with just basic primer, white paint all across. That's typically what I use, just white paint on all my flips. So my guys and my crew, they already know what we're gonna do, what to look for, and it's a faster process.
Nice. What is the timeline for something like this? Like let's say, one of these viewers comes across a property, $700K, the house is in the area selling for $9 to $1 million. What is the timeline from getting a totally torn up home that's been abandoned for 10, 12 years to selling it?
Yeah, realistically, I give myself 3 months to 3.5. That's making sure that there's no delays with inspection. Obviously, weather can also be a delay, but if I have no interruptions, I think 3 months to 3.5 months, I'm in and out. Even if I have to gut everything out, three months is a realistic time frame.
So what about adding square feet or an ADU? Is there limitations, restrictions based on the county, the city?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we got to submit. It's going to be 3 to 4, 6 months sometimes. I know this area really well. It's 3 to 6 months. Other areas, as you know, for permits, even for addition, I don't care if it's 100 square foot addition or 200. It's really the same thing. I found that if I'm going to do an addition, I might as well just go all out and just make it worth it.
Right, if you're gonna go that far. So
Yep.
so you have to know the area. Is it a lot easier in certain counties like IE versus LA? Is it a lot faster?
Yeah, let me well, to be honest, I don't really work that area, so I'd be lying if I can, talk for that. But I know like LA, it's 3 to 6 months. And then just to piggyback a little bit on what we do, I need 3 months to finish the project. I've been blessed that my houses don't go on the market for more than 2 weeks. So I get a good offer, a solid offer. And then it's the typical 30, 45 days for escrow. So besides the 3.5 months, it's another month, month and a half to get an offer and to, finalize and get escrow to give us the check.
Man, that's a lot of pressure when you have investors and all that on down your back, huh?
I love it.
Yeah.
Keeps me accountable. Yes, and I keep a good relationship with all of them. So
Yeah. Let's check out the back real quick. So what's the game plan back here?
we're gonna get rid of most of this landscaping. We're gonna paint the walls. We're gonna go white walls. We're gonna get rid of that lattice. That wall is gonna be like a modern wooden door. We're gonna get rid of that pond. We're gonna backfill with dirt. We're gonna compress it, compact it, and it's gonna have a nice fire pit there.
Nice.
Yeah, and
so what about the property? We noticed in the back it goes like another 100 feet down to the freeway. Is that yours?
yeah, it's part of this, even though it's on the parcel, right? It's not accounted for like part of this, yeah, the square feet of the entire house.
We noticed the neighbors had developments on that area,
Yeah.
so I'm like, man, you could fit a whole nother house back there.
Yes, so we actually, I looked into it when I was buying the house, so I decided to leave it alone. It's not worth it. So it has a decent square feet, so we can make something out of it.
Owners can do that, huh?
Yeah, I just want to get in and out so we can finish this stuff.
So right now we're in a housing crisis, right? Everybody's struggling. There's not enough homes, and then housing is very expensive. So a lot of people are looking at ADUs. So tell me, what's the get down with the ADU system program? What are some tips that you can tell homeowners looking to invest in that?
ADUs, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with ADUs. It's going to add, asset to your property. Thing about ADUs is I want to go and see it physically myself, because even if it's a standard 20 by 20 ADU, they tell you it's ready and it's not ready. What do you mean when it's ready? Do you have permits? Are they stamped? Or is it just RTI? Or are you going to start the project?
What's RTI?
Ready to issue.
Ready to issue.
Yeah.
So ready to issue means all your plans been approved. Here you go to work.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And then the stamp means, okay, there's nothing, you're good. There's no interruptions.
So what are people like nowadays? I know a lot of people have square foot prices for typical ADUs, conversions. Back in the day, people were used to 150 a square foot. Right now, for a middle of the road, not too fancy finishes, what's a decent price for construction, start to finish?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's gonna have their different opinion. I think something decent is gonna be in between 250 to 300. Yeah, and that's you got to consider what kind of finishes they want. Do you include finishes? And all that has to be detailed on the contract. So like I said before, you don't hit the clients with change orders and you don't ask them for more money. That you just violate their trust when you do that. So everything has to be there up front.
I told you, man. I didn't even have to tell him nothing. No, I was just telling them before. I hate that, right? I deal with general contractors all the time, and I told you I have the same bias that the public has, right? I think contractors,
we all do.
They're kind of sleazy. They tell you they're going to do something, they don't show up, or they give you an estimate knowing damn well that it can't be done, and then sting you all the way through, and it just leaves a bad taste. So that's why, I mean, I told you at G6 we got price lock guarantees, schedule guarantees, we have project plans, and we just stick to it, execute the plan. And I know with you it's going to be the same thing in this side of the house. So at the end of the day, the people that hire us, they know what they're getting. Right?
A good rule of thumb is always pretend you're the other person that you're talking to. What would you want to happen? Footings is important. Normally when you do an ADU, Vic, you do the footing of where the garage doors, but you have to really make sure that the other three sides are in compliance. If the inspector wants you to dig and scratch and to see if you have a 12 by 24, then you're good to go. The contract has to say if the inspector has us do underpin or whatever, there's an additional cost per side. How much is it? That's up to the contractor. If the main sewer line is more than 150 more than 150 feet, that's an additional cost. So I just put that up front.
So this house, you said it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath?
2 bath, 3 bedroom. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what, in your thought process, put me in your head, what made you decide that, hey, I'm not going to add convert this into an extension and add another 600 square feet?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's the time delay. I don't want to get stuck here for a year, 6 months waiting for the permits. Yeah, and then this area here, I know there's a high demand. So I know you mentioned there's like a crisis. I really haven't seen a crisis, which I didn't expect that. Only difference is, Vic, that the house is on the market for 2 or 3 weeks, rather than, you know, you have an offer before the house is done. Right. That's it. Other than that, there's no significant price drop. Can it be? Yes, but I can't guarantee that, you know. Yeah. But yeah, there's no need to add square feet. It's decent. We're gonna make it look nice, and there's you saw earlier, there's people coming in and already prospecting.
Interested while it's not even walls up.
Sure.
No, this is so what are you thinking in your 6 weeks to get this thing with a sale sign in the front?
Yeah, I think 6 weeks is time conservative. You know, once we get all the rough in here, it's pretty much knocked out. We got some guys here working on the outside just so we don't lose time. You know, I don't like to come to my projects and there's absolutely nothing there. It just, it doesn't make me feel good. So I have to have something going on, you know. And even if you have 10 projects, bro, or whatever it is, you have to be hands-on on every, even if it's for 30 minutes, you have to be there every day.
Or if there any realtors out there?
Yeah, absolutely, man. People up in Sacramento, Winters, I got a lot of families and friends up there. Vic here has, squads of people over there. He got workers over there, so we're gonna expand. So share this message up there, up north.
Cool. Yep. Brother. Big things popping.